All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
We are ready to call this meeting to order, and so I want to thank everyone that's here. Certainly, thank you to any visitors we may have here. Welcome to our team with Board of Pardons and Paroles, the board. And I also want to welcome Elizabeth Crowder from the Attorney General's office this morning. Before we get started with the business of the meeting, I would like to call up James Hill to do a prayer for us.
Yeah. Good morning, Chair Holmes and distinguished members of this board. To those who are gathered here today, let us pray. God, we bow now to say thank you for this day. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for allowing us to see the changing of the seasons. We pray now, God, that we would take in and behold all the beauty and the splendor of that which is your creation. Father God, we pray now for this assembly, for these members of this board, God, that you grant us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Bless our endeavors, our accomplishments, God, and whatever it is that we seek to do in your name. We ask it all today in the name of thy Son, and all who love God say amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that prayer, for getting us started this morning. At this time, we are going to move to approve the agenda. All the board members have previously received a copy of the agenda. So at this time, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any additions or deletions? Any discussion about the agenda? Hearing none at this time, if you say aye to approve.
Aye.
Any objections? Hearing none, the agenda is accepted. We will now adopt the minutes from the January 12th, 2026 board meeting. Likewise, the board has had the opportunity to review those minutes. Those minutes were previously disseminated. Do we have a motion to approve or adopt the minutes from the last meeting? Okay, we have a motion. Second?
Second.
Any corrections, deletions? Hearing none. Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the adoption of the minutes is approved. I will sign those and submit those. Any old business? Hearing none, at this time we'll move straight to new business. I think we have Director Chappell coming up.
Well, that was faster than I thought.
Yeah, right?
So good morning, members of the board.
Morning.
So you may not have noticed, I know we kind of look alike, but I'm not Executive Director Barnett, just in case you were wondering. But I'm proud to speak to you on his behalf and say that your operations team is quite simply exceptional, if I do say so myself. We labor tirelessly sifting through the complexities of our justice system so that when you sit down and make the decisions you do so with an unshakable confidence and absolute truth. Specifically for the Georgia Office of Victim Services and for advocates across the nation, April is not merely a page on the calendar. It's a season of profound weight, a time when we hold a mirror to the hardest truths of our society, observing 3 distinct awareness campaigns that strike at the very heart of what we do. First, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The scope of this crisis is kind of felt here in our communities. Only 24% of sexual assault cases are ever reported to law enforcement, meaning that more than 3 out of every 4 survivors carry that weight entirely alone, in silence, in the dark. Every case that never becomes a report is a person navigating their worst moment without a single hand reaching back. We must be the ones to extend that hand. Second, April is National Child Abuse Awareness Month. Now, the true measure of any society is how it treats its most vulnerable. In 2022, Georgia received over 123,000 referrals for child abuse and neglect. Georgia ranks 38th in the nation for child well-being. and an estimated 1 in 10 children will be experiencing sexual abuse before their 18th birthday. So I want you to think about that. 38th. 1 in 10. This is a sobering mandate to shield those who cannot even speak for themselves, let alone defend themselves. April is also National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. So here we confront a tragedy born entirely of avoidable choices. According to the Georgia Governor's Office of Highway Safety, 41% of total crashes in Georgia in 2023 were attributed to suspected distracted drivers. And Georgia ranks 6th in the entire nation for distracted driving. These are not accidents. These are preventable collisions that alter the courses of families forever. And our office stands ready to serve every person left in their wake. And so this heavy reality brings us to the culmination of the month of April. Next week, April 19th through the 25th, is National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Guided by the Office of Victims of Crime, this year's theme is a clear, undeniable directive. Listen, act, advocate. These aren't passive words. These are their demands. Listen requires the courage to sit in the uncomfortable silence of another's trauma, pulling them from the shadows of isolation. Act demands that we rise above mere sympathy and statutory obligations, which means doing the heavy lifting of building a genuine human connection. Advocate means deploying the institutional might of our agency to be the megaphone for those whose voices have been stolen by violence and fear. When we commit to these actions, we achieve the final premise of the theme. We protect victims and we serve communities. This is our blueprint for healing. Our office will not just acknowledge next week. We're going to mobilize. And our teams will definitely be deployed throughout the state next week. On April 21st, we're hosting our first Beyond the Crime webinar, Understanding Trauma and Building Resilience, with the incomparable, she's here somewhere, Deja Mitchell. We're going to be examining unseen emotional tremors that follow a crime. This series examines how traumatic experiences, whether personal, relational, or environmental, can shape emotions, behaviors, relationships, and overall well-being. On Wednesday, April 22nd, we'll be in Forest Park for the inaugural Community in Action program, shedding light on post-conviction rights and restoration. On Thursday, we'll join Board Member McCoy at the Northern Judicial Victim Impact Session as we make sure that victims' voices are heard, protected, and empowered. And as we close the week on Saturday, April 25th, we're going to be splitting up our team between 3 different simultaneous events, so it's going to be busy, including the 35th Annual Homicide Memorial Service. We'll be there when the names are called, when the candles are lit, and when the tears fall, providing direct, boots on the ground support for anyone who needs it. And so I'll leave you with this. Justice is too often measured by the banging of a gavel, but true restoration is measured by the meaning, by the mending of a soul. We're not here merely to process the tragic arithmetic of crime. We're here to stand in the gap for the broken, to echo the cries of the silence, and to prove that in the state of Georgia, no victim should ever have to walk through their darkest valley alone. Thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Director Capel. Definitely want to say, as we talk about our tenets, 2 of those being engaging and educating, your team is absolutely doing that. We thank you for reminding us of what this month brings awareness to. It's no wonder that you and your team, and I know the Marcy's Law Award was presented to you, but I know you believe that to be a team award. And so all the things that you all are doing encompass why that award came to you all. So we thank you for the dedication of you and your team and the work that you're doing.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair Holmes, Vice Chair Bennett, and board members. Good morning, guests as well. Executive Director Barnett, thank you for allowing us this time to share some information about post-release. And Chair Holmes, you stole a little bit of my thunder. I want to ask here on behalf of Director Barnett to please stand up again. I said, can you please stand up?
They were talking to somebody.
And I'll let you sit down just so I can ask you to stand up again. But for those in the audience, on April 6, 2026, Marty's Law, a leading victim advocacy group, honored Director Keir Chappell by presenting him with the Champion Award for National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Each year, Marty's Law for Georgia honors individuals or organizations that demonstrate an outstanding commitment to advancing victims' rights. As the Georgia Office of Victim Services Director, Keir is dedicated to crime victims' rights, ensuring that they are heard at every stage of their abuser or attacker's post-conviction. So please join me in recognizing Director Chappell for this outstanding award that he received. April is also Second Chance Month, a time to recognize the importance of redemption, opportunity, and support for returning citizens. The second part of the board's mission is providing opportunities for positive change. Yet oftentimes, when people think of the parole board, parole releases are the first thing that come to mind. They rarely associate or think about the pardons in the Pardons and Parole Board. Naturally, families want to see their loved ones released from prison. As a community, we want to see them transition successfully back into society, and that is where the second chance begins. On the other side of that successful transition is the opportunity to apply for a pardon, an official forgiveness from the state of Georgia, declaring that the recipient is fully rehabilitated and law-abiding. In Georgia, the parole board is the only entity with the authority to grant a pardon or restoration of rights lost due to a felony or certain misdemeanor convictions. Receiving a pardon may assist an individual in advancing in his or her chosen profession, obtaining a professional license, or applying for a record restriction. And for many, a pardon is redemption for a chapter of their lives that they want to put behind them for good. In recognition of this occasion and to raise awareness of the ongoing efforts to address the challenges faced by individuals re-entering society, we have invited members of the Middle Georgia Reentry Coalition and the pardon recipient to honor them and acknowledge their meaningful contributions to advancing second chances. The Middle Georgia Reentry Coalition represents the highest level of commitment to justice-involved reentry efforts that I have witnessed in my more tthan 3 decades with the board. I heard that, Hamlin. I'm like, should I include that? Should I not? Thank you. I have had the privilege of attending their meetings monthly for the last couple of years, where members work tirelessly to coordinate resources and provide wraparound services that address nearly every need returning citizens may encounter. They truly epitomize what strong, effective community partnership should look like and serve as a model for collaborative impact. Before I introduce our guest, though, I would like to ask the pardon administration team to come up. So you all come on up, and I'll introduce you to our pardon administration team. The manager is Ms. Patina Latham. Our assistant manager is Kiera Joyner, and Glenda White is one of our pardon member teams. Our only other member who was unavailable is Ms. Carol Deems. Unfortunately, she could not join us today. And as before they read the actual proclamation, I wanted to say that during the Second Chance Month and throughout the year, the Pardon Administration team actively participates in events to engage and educate stakeholders about the pardon application criteria, process, and the benefits of obtaining a pardon. Earlier this month, the team hosted an informational table in the cafeteria level where they connected with passers-by and answered numerous questions. They were joined in this effort by members of our criminal investigator team, who conduct restoration of rights investigations to prepare applicant cases to go to the board. And I would like to thank Director Kemner, I didn't see if he came in, there he is, and Deputy Director Flint for supporting this effort by sending some investigations to help us with that project. Members of the pardon administration team also participated in a resource fair at the Macon Day Reporting Center and will participate in the Georgia Department of Community Supervision Cobb Judicial Circuit and United Women Reentry Foundation resource on the 28th. So at this time, though, they will read a proclamation that the board so graciously provided for us for the occasion.
Good morning, board members,
Good morning.
parole board staff, and guests. Today I'll be reading the proclamation for our Second Chance Month. And here's the proclamation. The Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles is committed to its mission of providing opportunities for positive change and is steadfast in its support of the rehabilitation and reintegration of justice-involved individuals. The prison population in Georgia exceeds 50,000 individuals, and the parole population stands at more than 14,000 individuals, each of whom has the potential for transformation and positive contributions to society. The Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles hold the unique constitutional authority to grant executive clemency in the form of pardons, paroles, reprieves, and commutations, ensuring fair opportunities for those who seek redemption and change. The Parole Board is dedicated to supporting successful outcomes for parolees by enforcing special parole conditions that promote treatments and programs crucial to successful reintegration into society. The Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles recognize that considering those who are eligible for pardons and restoration of rights affords the opportunity for a second chance to rebuild their life, and that redemption is a key element of our justice system. Therefore, be it now hereby resolved by the members of the State Board of Pardons and Paroles, in accord with federal and state governments and our partner agencies in Georgia, hereby acknowledges the month of April as Second Chance Month, declaring the importance of providing justice-involved individuals with opportunities to turn their lives around, integrate into society, and contribute positively to the communities of Georgia. So ordered upon the first day of April 2026 by the State Board of Pardons and Paroles. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, board, for the proclamation, and I wanted to acknowledge the pardon teams. These ladies process probably about 1,000 pardon applications per year, and it takes a very high level of expertise. There are a lot of, we in Kwan's office very often trying to determine if what eligibility really is. There are so many different scenarios, and they do an excellent job, and I just wanted to recognize them for it. So thank you all. Okay, and now on to our guest. We have 4 guests, one of which I will speak about. He won't be speaking, but the other 3 guests will stand up. I'll read their bios shortly. I'll start with Ronnie Mays. Ronnie is a great friend. He actually began his career in community supervision with the Parole Board in 2004. In 2015, he transitioned to the Department of Community Supervision and is the area of passion reentry services as the community coordinator in 2022. Ronnie has dedicated his work to helping supervisees overcome the obstacles returning citizens face, and he has made a meaningful difference that won't be forgotten. And I say that because it's with mixed emotions that I say that Ronnie will be retiring effective August 31st of this year. So we really appreciate all the work he's done with our agency, our sister agencies, and we're really going to miss Ronnie being around. Ronnie, stand up so that they can. All right, thank you. Okay, I'll move on. I'll read all of the bios and then they will come up individually and give us a few comments. Pamela Lightsey retired September 30th after 27 years with the Department of Justice in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Georgia in Macon. During her tenure with the department, she served as community outreach specialist, public information officer, and law enforcement coordination specialist. Her duties included community outreach, assistance to victims and witnesses, writing and issuing press releases, fielding media calls, crime prevention and intervention, law enforcement training, and reentry. Since 2008, she has been active with the Macon Reentry Coalition, serving as the convener for the group. William Bill Adams, former Judge Adams, is a native of Macon. He graduated from the University of Georgia in 1974
Good dog.
and Mercer Law School in 1977. He received a Law School Meritorious Service Award in 2024. His employment history includes private practice of law, federal prosecutor for the Middle District of Georgia, judge of state court of Bibb County from 1999 to 2017. He's now active with Access to Georgia efforts in Middle Georgia, including service as president of Middle Georgia Justice since 2017 and member State Bar and Judicial Council Access to Justice Committees. And then Christy Brown is a certified peer specialist in mental health and addictive disease, forensic peer mentor, wellness coach, and trauma-informed care advocate. She is a Respect Institute graduate and an advanced level RAP facilitator, using her lived experience to inspire recovery and resilience. Christy works with the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network at the Macon-Dade Reporting Center, supporting individuals involved in the criminal justice system. In 2025, she was selected by the Middle Georgia Justice Project as a candidate to pursue a full pardon for all felony convictions, reflecting her commitment to growth, advocacy, and second chances. Christy is passionate about helping others turn pain into power and build a life of recovery and stability. So those are our guests. They'll come up one at a time and share a few things.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning to you. Thank you for this invitation. We are so proud to be here. I have to say something to Sheriff Michael Moore.
Okay.
Okay. We were trying to think of something earlier. But I'm thrilled to tell you about our Reentry Coalition. Back in 2008, a federal probation officer and a defense attorney sort of came up with this idea for this coalition to address the needs of the returning citizens. And they began the Macon Reentry Coalition. We've recently changed our name to the Middle Georgia Reentry Coalition to reflect the fact that we're serving all the counties around Bibb County, so it's more than just the Macon Reentry Coalition. Today we have probably 150 members from all sorts of walks of life. We have local, state, and federal government people, we have courts, we have churches and faith-based organizations, we have nonprofits, most every kind of agency, and including returning citizens who are part of this coalition. We meet monthly to come together to learn about resources for returning citizens, also to hear success stories about returning citizens who have turned their lives around, but probably most importantly, to network, because that's the beauty of this coalition, is the networking that we all do. Every agency here has another job to do besides working with returning citizens, but all of them are dedicated to assisting those returning citizens with overcoming the obstacles that are or may prevent them from re-entering society successfully. And so it's just a passion for all of us to do what we can, because we recognize That's how we reduce recidivism, and that's how we make our community safer. So it's a community safety effort, among other things. So we all work together, and what happens is, well, several years ago, we created this flyer for folks who might need our services. Put it at the bus station, the sheriff's department, the jail, anywhere somebody might see it who needs any of these kind of services. And the U.S. Attorney created a phone line for us so that they could actually have a place to call when they needed things. So that came to me. So that's part of my passion for doing this. So what happens is, between meetings, we receive requests, mostly from probation officers, from mothers, sometimes from the returning citizen themselves, but not as much. Usually it's somebody who's trying to help them, who reaches out to us and says, he's getting out next week, he has nowhere to live. He's found a job, but he has no way to get there. What can you do about it? And so what I do is I put it out to our coalition and say, we have this person who has this need. Within an hour, somebody says, I can help. And it's just incredible the way this group works. I'm just so proud to be a part of them. So our biggest barrier, our biggest obstacle, I think, is those on the sex offender registry. There's just no housing opportunities for them. If there's anybody we can reach out to find housing opportunities for those on the register, we need that for sure, and jobs as well. We've developed a second chance employer list, so we know who in the surrounding counties are willing to hire people who have a record. That's so important because that's such a difficulty for so many of our folks. And we have the vocational school who helps them with job training or continuing their education or whatever they need to qualify for these jobs that we can find for them. We have folks working on mental health, working on substance abuse, any obstacle that they have. We have somebody on this team who can address it and who's willing to. That's what's so incredible, again, about this group. We have a website, we have a Facebook page for the community at large, and especially for those returning citizens. And we do all of this with no office, no staff, and no budget. I mean, it happens because of these dedicated partners. And I just think that's amazing. And maybe that's what you see as amazing, is that they just all care and they all come together and they reach out and they do whatever is needed. So we wanted to tell you about who we are and what we do and what's going on in Middle Georgia, and we hope that maybe we can replicate it in other parts of the state as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the work that you all do, and thank you for being here this morning.
Madam Chair, if I might.
Yes.
Ms. Lightsey,
Yes,
it's good to see you. It's been many years.
that's right.
I'm glad you're still providing great services in your community.
Well, I retired September 30th, but I just couldn't let go of this. So I told them, well, I'm going to stay on as a volunteer now.
So the service gets in your blood.
That's
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
It does.
I am curious if there are other agencies around the state who provide similar services to what you do.
I was aware of a group in Albany. I know they had an active reentry coalition. I'm not sure if they still exist or not, but I'm not aware of any others.
Nor am I.
Thank you.
So we're willing to help them set one up if they need it.
Thank you.
May it please the board, thank you, Kim, for inviting us, and thank you, board members, for having us up today. It's a privilege to be here speaking to you. Pam is one of my heroes. She does a great job with the Reentry Coalition. I spent 18 and a half years with a gavel on my desk. I didn't bang it very often, but I had one, and something said this morning really hit me. It's about mending souls. And there were limitations on what a judge could do sitting there on the bench, and I heard a lot of things that bothered me of folks coming through the legal system without an attorney and then getting bad outcomes. And so that's why I left the courthouse, to see what we might could do. And today we have Middle Georgia Justice. We started operating in 2018. with a small office and staff of 1. We now have 9 people that work for us in a very nice office in downtown Macon. And I'm there full time. That's all I do is pro bono legal services. So 10 people there, and we have 4 lawyers and executive director, and then we help folks with family law and probate law. And then this criminal history relief is what I do. And that's early on, collaboration has been a theme of our organization from the beginning. And I learned about some things I didn't know sitting on the bench, and one of them was about the Reentry Coalition. So I started going to those meetings shortly after I left the courthouse, and have been going to them regularly ever since, and thoroughly impressed. And my point to them, and my point to other ministries in town, if you encounter somebody that has a legal problem, send them our way. We'll help them do the best we can, and because they have a lot of issues, but sometimes they have legal issues, and sometimes they don't know what to do about it. And so one thing we did at Middle Georgia Justice, we started the Second Opportunity Desk, we call it. We're thankful for Georgia Justice Project leading the way. They have the Second Chance Desk in several counties, and they asked us to use a different name, and that was fine because we're thankful for their support. But we have the Second Opportunity Desk. We have 2 staff members that do nothing but criminal history relief. 40% of Georgians have a criminal record. Y'all probably knew that. Most people, I tell them that, and they say, really? They don't believe it, but it's true. And so there's a lot of need out there, and so we help people with the various remedies provided by Georgia law that the average citizen doesn't know exactly what they are. I need it, but how do I get it? And so the collaboration, we work with the prosecutors in our 7 counties, Bibb County and the 6 surrounding counties, the prosecutors, the clerks of the offices, and they really appreciate us because they can send folks that come to them saying, I need some help here. Well, I can't give you legal advice. So now they can say, go down the street to Middle Georgia Justice and they'll talk to you there. And so we have a steady flow of folks who have criminal records, some of whom have felony records, and so we've done some pardons, and we help people through the pardon process. Carol Deems, early on when I didn't know what to do, I sent an email to this board, and I need some help down here in Macon. Who could help me? And Carol called, and she has been very helpful along the way, and now Kim and the members here were at one of our Reentry Coalition meetings and made a great presentation. I have those slides. I'll look at them from time to time. So thank you for doing that. They're very helpful. We want to help people we want to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, so when we help somebody, and there won't be any time expired restrictions on there. There won't be any dead dockets on there. We're going to clear it all up. And the average person ain't got a clue how to go about getting those things cleared up on their record. What's a TER? I didn't know that until I started doing this work. Y'all know what it is, and there are a lot of them on there. GCIC reports are often not accurate. And so we go to the court record. We get the court records, and we get the GCIC corrected so that we can then help somebody through that process. And we've been thankful for the relief we helped some of them get. Now, once you get a pardon, Georgia law allows you to go back to the sentencing court and get that case restricted in GCIC and the court record sealed. A pardon is an essential step, and you got to have a pardon to do that. But that was about 4 or 5 years ago. The Georgia law started allowing folks to get that additional relief to the pardon. Once they get a pardon, they can get it restricted in GCIC and the court record sealed. So we help a lot of folks in other areas as well. But this has been early on. This is what came our way, and we responded, and we're thankful for the opportunity to help people. Thank you for the chance to come speak to you.
Thank you so much, Judge Adams. Just in those 2 conversations, the cooperation and the partnership, not just between your 2 organizations, but certainly you had the conversation about the Georgia Justice Project and starting up the Second Opportunity Desk. Those are all powerful tools to help the process of reentry and those positive second chances and outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thinking about what to say, but here I am. I'm Christy Brown. I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means for me, it's been 11 years since I had the use opiates to alter the way that I feel. Second chance to me looked like this present moment. I kept hearing redemption around the room. And I thank God for redeeming my time. I was able to advocate for myself. The second chance looked like me being a supervisor at the Macon Department of Community Supervision. And now I'm employed by Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network as a subcontractor to help others. Second chance to me looks like going from existing to living. Second chance look like I get to be a mother today. I get to be a daughter today. I get to be a significant other. I get to do the assignments that God has me to do on different ministries that I serve in the community. Second chance look like me advocating for myself for the Middle Georgia Justice Project that's been helping me along the way. I was looking at the stats in there, and it said 169 has been pardoned without firearms. I'm in that 169 today. It's gonna drop down next year though, because April the 2nd, I'm going for my restored rights, right? So that 169 next year drop to the next one, so I have my full pardon. And so that's basically just what second chance means to me. That means that I am on assignment for God, and whatever He has me do. My favorite scripture is Jeremiah 29:11, and I stand on that still today. I get to show up and be supportive of my peers and work at the Macon Daily Reporting Center with the mental health that's dual diagnosed as myself. We get to come together and figure out solutions to help with these problems, to sustain the wellness and sustain recovery. And I wouldn't have it no other way. Thank you.
Ms. Brown, thank you so much for being here. You're absolutely a testimony for so many others who maybe have not gotten to the point that you are. I think the most profound thing you said was you went from existing to living. You know, when we are truly living for that, we pull up the people around us and they see it, they feel it. So thank you for being here and congratulations on all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Chair Holmes, Vice Chair Bennett, if you wouldn't mind joining us in the well. I think we would like to honor our special guest with a little token of appreciation for the hard work and dedication that y'all provide to our communities each and every day. And so, Ms. Holmes, if it's okay, I'd like to start with the Ronnie Mays. Come on up, Mr. Mays.
All right, it is a pleasure to see you this morning. Sorry, I'm a hugger, so that's what I always do first, right? But on behalf of the Board of Pardons and Paroles, we just want to say thank you for your service and all that you've done. You've clearly made an impact, and even though you're retiring from this organization, we're sure that you're going to continue to make that impact. So on behalf of the board and the team, we do want to present you with our challenge coin that has our insignia and all the things on it. So thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Great job, Ronnie. Thank you. And now, Miss Pam Lightsey.
Take pictures.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
On behalf of all of our board members, congratulations on a great career. And I know you're going to continue on doing what you love to do best.
I am.
And you're a blessing to everyone. This young lady here, I can see it in her eyes and her face. And she has a bright future because of you and your organization, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Job well done.
Mr. Bennett.
Quick picture, Pam.
Oh.
Gotta have it for the Instagram.
No picture, it didn't happen.
Thank you.
Judge Bill Adams.
Judge Adams, thank you again for seeing the need and upon leaving the bench feeling that need. It's important work that you're doing, and bringing the awareness is important as well, because people don't know that the resource is out there. And so the work that you all are doing is fantastic. Thank you so much, and on behalf of the Board of Pardons and Paroles, we do present you with this challenge.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
And now, for the one that set the standard for the day,
That's right.
Miss Christy Brown. Please come join us.
Thank you for your words today. They were very, very inspiring. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of followers because of you and this great organization. So keep up the great work and keep moving forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll hold you to it.
Me too.
Get my good side.
They're all good sides. Come on. Fantastic. Well, good morning, board. What a great day, right? Inspiring day, right? And how about the presentations? The team did a great job about highlighting in action the 3 pillars of our mission statement, and that is enhancing public safety, protecting victims' rights, and providing opportunities for positive change. They did a great job of covering all 3 pillars, but I feel they forgot one thing that I've got to just add in before I go to my closing comments, and that is today is a special day. It is Miss Glenda White's birthday. Happy birthday, Glenda.
Happy birthday.
Or as I call her, Glorious Glenda. I'm just going to tell you. Now, the last time I stood here before the board, I spoke of an old lighthouse keeper whose job was not to control the sea or control the storms or the ships, but to simply keep the light on. A beacon of hope, a guiding light to what each and every person calls success. So today, I'd like to talk a little bit about golf. Y'all with me? A little bit about golf. As you well may have heard, last week, Georgia hosted a little golf tournament over there in Augusta. I think it's called the Masters. And some may have even been able to attend a round or 2 in person. Now, I know you're thinking, what does golf have to do with anything that we talked about here today? And so as I thought about what I might say today, I was immediately drawn to this: a golf ball. I think our board members each have a golf ball, and our special guest in legal have a golf ball, right? So, if you look close at this golf ball, you'll notice it is not perfect. It is old and dirty and worn, with some scuff marks from trees and some rough patches from the bunkers. And if you look even closer, you can see dimples in this ball. Hundreds of little imperfections covering its surface. Now some people would look at this ball and immediately put it back in the bag and look for a newer, a shiny, a clear, perfect ball. But those that truly know look at this ball and smile, because they understand something very important. Those dimples aren't flaws. They are the very reason this ball can fly. Without them, the ball would fall short, dragging down by resistance, but because of them, it can cut through the air, travel further, fly straighter, and reach places the smooth ball could never know. This ball tells a story, one that sounds a lot like people. Every one of us carries marks from where we have been. Mistakes we made, hard lessons we had to learn, setbacks, scars, and that we don't always show on the surface, but truly shape who we are. Like those dimples on this golf ball, they may not look perfect, but they serve a purpose, and that is to teach us, to strengthen us, and to prepare us to go farther than we ever thought possible. And isn't that what we're here for today? The spirit of second chances. It's about recognizing people like a golf ball that are more than their past. That with the right opportunity, the right support, and a willingness to keep going, to strive greatly, they can overcome resistance and soar. Because in the end, it's not about being flawless. It's about what you do after you've been marked. And how far you're willing to fly. Board, I want to thank you publicly for seeing the scars and marks and imperfections for exactly what they are. The potential strength and success in each person you see. Thank you so much. Thank you for your continued leadership, support, and guidance, and for all you do to serve the citizens of this great state of Georgia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the bonnet. There's no truer words, certainly. What will you do after you've been marked? I think we can all take that as we go to do the things in our daily lives. Before we get ready to adjourn, I certainly want to invite any comments that the other board members may have. Okay, hearing none, I will close with mending souls, restoration, redemption, existing to living. All themes that have gone through the conversations today. With what we've seen and what we've heard, this is a great opportunity. You know, we all have to refocus and move forward with what our tasks and our missions are on a daily basis. And so certainly this board is tasked with ensuring public safety as a priority. But in doing that, have to recognize that that means taking a lot of things into consideration, and community is exactly that. As a parole team, law enforcement in the field, in the judiciary, the positive change doesn't just happen in those spaces. It has to happen with organizations that we have heard from today. People willing to take those next steps and pay it forward to others that are still looking for that. And so I'm grateful to be here working with this board, working with this team. Director Patton Johnson, want to say thank you for the work that your team is doing, for the presentation made this morning by Ms. Latham, Ms. Joyner, Ms. White, and in her absence, Ms. Deems. It's hard to point individuals out because you know that everybody is doing the work. I could just see the looks on the faces as you talked about your team that's doing pardons. But I am going to do this because I had the opportunity to speak to Ms. White one-on-one about the work that she is doing with pardons. The tears, the emotion, and the true gratitude that is displayed for being able to do the work. You know, it's one thing to go into a job and to do a job, but to be thankful that you get to do it because of what it means to those who are receiving the benefit is important. And every person who works on this Pardons and Paroles team has that. I just had the opportunity to have that conversation and really feel it pour out. But those representing in this room and the teams that serve with them feel the same way. And so I think I speak on behalf of the board that that is our true feeling and the blessing of being here. So thank you all for that. I just wanted to make sure that I express that it's not just those of us sitting on this dais. It's not just those that work in this organization, but it is a community effort. Redemption and restoration is what brings public safety together. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any objections to adjourning? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you. Sorry, I adjourned the meeting, but I didn't say we don't talk about individual cases here at our public board meetings, but you can call 404-656-4661. Thank you.